Texas, the police department
I know the story.
went savage and just swooped down on us to try to wipe out every believer there was there. And of course, we are far different from Martin Luther King and his followers. We know what we should do and what America should do, and what will be done and what will not be done. We know these things. We could all have taken steps and died, a few hundred of us, at that time, to defend the attack on us. Not because we are afraid. We're not afraid. Not because that we are unarmed. That just don't amount to anything. We still will fight with our hands when we are fought against. But it is good that we did not try to defend the brother any more than we did at that time. But it's not because that we are cowards, and it's not because that we are not willing to die for the freedom of our people. That's what we're here for. That's exactly what we're here for. We intend to sacrifice our life for the freedom of the so-called American Negro, if necessary. That's our particular job. But we want to do it in a way that we will be respected by the scientists a million years, if necessarily in the future. That we didn't make a mistake, that we did not hasten something moved out of the time. We want to be recognized as doing the thing right and on time, and with the help of God and the righteous on our side. But this won't help Americans at all. Her proud attacks against us is not going to help her, and it's not helping her future at all. We know the consequences of her. We have the powers on our side. We know that. But we know we have millions of our people here yet blind, deaf, and dumb to the knowledge of what we have knowledge of. And this is what we want to do. First, we want, as they call it, resurrect them and put them on the road to self and qualify them to be accepted by the civilizations of the earth. They are not qualified as they are today. I feel sorry and grieve so for my people day and night for making the mistake that they make and not accepting Islam and Allah as their God to help them, because the way they are going is only temporary. I would say enjoyment that they would get out of what they are asking for, and there is no permanency in nothing that they are fighting for at the present time. The fundamental thing that we should be fighting for is separation, and not integration, but separation. There is no future for us to continue to live under our slave master's children for bread and shelter and a job whenever he's able to give us one. No future for us in that. We're too numerous now to look for anything like that. There's only 1 million of us here in America, to be different. But there's 20 million or more of us here in America. And why should we now, after the government's has said that we are free and still say we are free, and even in words say we are citizens. Why should not we seek some of this earth that we can build on it a home of our own and stop depending on our slave masters' children for bread and shelter, clothes, as we have always, even under servitude slave. That's what our fathers had to depend on. But now a free man, he needs to exercise that particular right of freedom. If our slave masters' children are mistreating us, it's our fault to remain there under him. It is not no one's fault but our own. Get out from under him. Go for ourselves. That's the thing to do, not to fight him for what he has. No. Go where we can get something for ourselves. And then fight him if he hinders us from going after our own. Not fight him for not giving to us what he has, or not accepting us as a member in his society. We are fools to do that. He have a perfect right to keep out any member of his society that he don't like. That's our own right. We accept you in our society if we want to. And if not, we keep you out. There's no law to force us to accept a foreign member in our society. And even to share with you what we have if you are free to get what I'm getting. But if I'm hindering you from getting what I'm getting, then all right, take down the barrier, the wall, or either then share with me with what you have, because I'm helping you to get it. And you won't give me an equal share of it, and you won't give me a chance to go and get for myself. Now this is the thing in America, between the white man and the black man. America don't want the so-called Negro to have the freedom to do something for himself. She wants to keep him under a rosy promise that I will take care of you if you do this and do that, or you trust me. I will take care of you. Just trust me. But this is not the thing for millions of people to continue to nourish and to hold dear to them that everything will be all right. And yeah, and a leader rise up among that many people and say that we should bow and lay down our bodies to the table or feet of the diners of white Americans, to ask him to let us eat there beside him. He's making his people a fool in himself too. Because if I'm sitting down here to my table, eating, I'm even made the table. I manufactured everything. I grown the food that I'm eating. And here's a man comes here, wants to force me to let him sit beside me and equally recognized as he, the owner and the producer. And he will even lay down on my floor and let me walk on it to get this change. He's then making himself recognized and not respect among human beings to even lie down on my floor to let me walk on it. Who wants such a thing as that to be his equal? We Muslims will not do that. We're not going to demand white Americans to give us no place at your table if you don't want us there. We got to look to white America for her food that she has produced, because we have not produced any for ourselves. but we're going to do it in a most respectful manner. We're going to recognize you as the producer, and we hope that you will sell us some of it. And we hope that you will let us find some way to get the money to buy you food, and for the time being. But we are in hopes that you will help us to get out there to ourselves, to produce the same for our people as you are producing for yourself.
Well, again, don't you think that there is some advantage then? Agreed, it is not the primary advantage. It is not the first thing to be considered. But do you not feel it is a small consideration then that this message be spread around not only to the American Negro, but to the whites as well, to get them used to the idea of what you want, what you're working for, what your aims are?
That's exactly what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to spread it.
But then, in this reason, do you think even if it wasn't completely the way that you would like it, I don't know. It might be. I don't know because I'm just.
I understand.
But even though it mightn't be completely the way you like it, it would make enough of your points that a program that I would do that it would have enough of your points at least to get some people thinking about this. About your plan?
Yeah. Just what is wrong? Just what is wrong? I repeat, with the program that I have presented, that let the so-called Negro go free to himself. Since that you are not able to get along with him in peace, you are not going to recognize him as your equal. That's dropping your own self down to the level of a slave. You could not say to the world that my one slave and myself now are equal, when the slave is not producing anything. You are the producer. You are the one that is caring for the slave. How is he your equal? How can you say that he's your equal when that he is now in the status of a free slave and you are a free man and a world-recognized nation of independence and nation of scientific advancement and still are producing the needs of your people and others? Can your slave now be your equal now? It's only fun. It's like telling a child that, here, baby, suck this stick of candy. And after a while, I'm going to give you that so-and-so. So, well, you're only pacifying the child with some sweets because you know he loves that. But the stick of candy is to pacify him, to keep him from thinking about getting this over here. But what we want is something permanent. We want the slave to go to work for himself. That's what we want.
To stand on his own 2 feet.
But we can't do that unless we have help to do it. We're only asking a good push-off. Give the slave something
for his years of labor. Eh?
Well, I don't say you're going to do that because you're not going to give him justice for the years that he has served you.
He's never given justice on anything else.
Never, that's right. Can't expect. Never, that's right. Can't expect the justice for that. But give him something to start with. Say, set a time on him. Here is the area here I will move you into, and I will help you in that which you are not producing or have not produced enough for your people for the next 20, 25 years to get on foot for yourself. And whatever you need that I can help you in, I will give it. Well, okay. Start me off with your own money if you want. We don't have to produce our own mediums of exchange. Since you're going to help us for the next 20, 25 years, we use your money. Okay. If millions of people will move into area to do something like that for themselves from a people whom they have served so well, so sincere for 400 years, I think the one slave should accept such offer, and I think the master should give such service.
But for the master, as you put it, to as a practical proposition in our society, which is so materialistic, he wants some show of good faith, some security, as it were, that this is in fact going to work. Now, don't you think that programs and information like what you people have done with people who have been imprisoned, who have been drug addicts, who have been sort of antisocial, and through your organization, from what I've read, I may be wrong, you've brought them in, you've cleaned them up, you've cleaned up their homes,
That's being done
sent their kids to school,
every week.
You've created in them a self-respect that they've never had before, something to believe in, something to... Now, don't you think that by television programs, by newspaper articles, that some of these things are, and almost every article I've read about the Muslims, this point has been made. This point has been made in just about every article I've read, that the Muslims are always employed, they are always well-dressed, they are always law-abiding and less attacked, but they won't stand for nonsense, that they are always clean, that they are always prosperous, that by and large they are good workers, low rate of juvenile delinquency, and so on. Now, these things have all been in all the articles that I've...
Yeah, so we tried to do away with laziness. That's one thing that I can't help but to say with justice. My people have been made lazy, and we are trying to get him out of that and make him go for himself and do something for himself. After he accepts Islam, we warn him that you must go and dig for yourself and don't depend on others to do it for you. And this do away with so much laziness. The white man giving them soup and bread and a job every now and then.
Just encourages them to come back the next
Yeah,
day.
that's right.
Job now.
Yeah, you understand what I mean there. And therefore, to get him going for himself, you got to get that out of him. That he must do this for himself, not to look to others to do it for him. And this is what we are teaching. And
With
it makes
considerable success.
Yes, sir. We are having great progress in getting to our people with this, because so many agrees that they has been handicapped with such a lazy idea as let the other fellas.
Well, don't you think that if we did a film, a television film, and we showed the slums of say, Chicago or Harlem, as opposed to the cleanliness of the homes of the Muslims, for example, as opposed to the homes of those who aren't Muslims, the industry of the Muslims as opposed to those who aren't Muslims, this sort of thing, that it would have some merit?
Well, yes, sir. Because there is a certain percentage of your people and my people, too, agree that this work of cleaning our people up internally and externally as well is just the first step that a people of that type should take before ever seeking recognition by others. We cannot hope to be recognized by the intelligent world of mankind if we are not their equal in trying to demand respect from others. We have to respect ourselves. And this we have a great work on our hands to do. We have to correct everything about our people. That's their language and the way they use it, how they use it, and their loudness, and so much, everything, I said, everything has to be just turned over and changed. And the man got to be made all over again, a new person.
Well, then, let me go back again and say, I am very anxious I'm very interested in your organization. Now, because of the biological fact that I am white and not Negro, I suppose I cannot be as interested as I could be if I were a Negro. This isn't my fault. But nevertheless, I like to think, in any case, that I have a social conscience and that I am interested in people. And I think that I could do a good program, and it may not be all you would want, but it will inform an audience, at least, which I know of some of these points. It may not make all of them, but no program will, no film, no book, no one magazine. At best, all you can do is make 5 or 6 good points and make them well. At least give them something to think about. Because it may be those same people that someday in the future will be called upon to perhaps assist financially or otherwise in your send-off.
Well, the pain of it is, I guess you have heard it over and over again, that I may just speak plainly. To have the trust that you will do these things,
Well, put it another way. You don't even have to trust me. The more controversial the more controversial a program I put on, the more trouble, in a sense. The better the program I can put on, the more accurate a program I can put on, the better it is for me. Again, I say at the offset, I have no axe to grind, either for the Muslims or against the Muslims. I'm a Canadian. It is true that I am a white man, and as a white man, I suppose I'm suspect, with good reason. I don't even argue that.
Suppose the uprising would get on the way. In America, between the so-called Negro and the white man. Suppose it runs into such thing as actually the taking of lives by the hundreds.
Where would I be? Is that the question?
Well,
Where I would have no choice, would I? It wouldn't be a question of even how I felt about it. I couldn't be on the Negro side if I wanted to, because they'd shoot me. I would have no choice.
That's the idea.
I would have no choice. But this isn't the revolution now. This isn't a point of war.
Kennedy, you're Canadian. Kennedy don't want the Negro here in America to get in no such position that they can demand justice for themselves in America, because it will probably cause some bloodshed. And we can't expect the Canadian people to sympathize with us for our seeking justice here from the hand of our
I'm not sure that
people.
you can't expect... Well, up to a point, you're right. But it's not an absolute thing. Or maybe it is. Maybe it is black and white. Maybe
Yeah.
that is. I don't know. I would like to think you're wrong.
Yeah. So, suppose that
for example,
we would start getting the upper hand. You have for our people over there too. If you're us live in your country. And
they don't get any better deal. I know that. Not only that, but we say that we don't have a problem, but our immigration laws restrict Negroes from even coming into the country.
yeah,
I know
that's
that.
right.
I am not trying to talk you into something, and I would be a fool to lie to you. It is in my best interest to put on the most accurate program I can put on because it is important. Because I believe it is important that the white man at least understand what this is all about.
That's true. That's 100% true.
I cannot see it with your eye entirely, but I certainly see many of the points that you made. I certainly see the point that a man must respect himself before he demands respect. I see the point that we cannot trust the white man. In 300 years, what has he given us to trust? I was in Alabama. I was in Birmingham. But I, too, was threatened by those cops. Mind you, I wasn't beaten, but I was threatened. I, too, was called names. I, too, was insulted.
Well, that's true. As I told a gentleman here the other week that was here wanting to interview me, I told him that maybe 1 out of 1,000 of white people may be sincere and they're sympathetic.
We're sincere, even if only because of fear. We don't want to fight you. We don't want to fight anybody. Anybody with any brains doesn't want to fight.
No,
Unless he has to.
Unless he has to.
But
right
this
there.
thing has all the earmarks of a fight.